How do you know what to put out in a job posting? What makes a desirable candidate, both on LinkedIn and a regular resume? Some do's and don'ts, like walk us through it.
Yeah, I think it changes depending on what point you are in your career. But let's talk about the point that you're at in your career right now, right? So you're starting out, and if I'm looking for someone that's going to be sort of in an entry level ish position, right? The first 1 to 3 years of your career, I'm not looking for someone that has this stellar resume and this stellar LinkedIn profile, but I am looking for someone that does have a LinkedIn profile. So if you don't have one, get one, and kind of be active on there, right? So somebody that has sort of a bare bones LinkedIn profile without a profile picture, and I'm reaching out and never answers back, that's not really attractive, or takes a month to answer back, that's not really attractive. And I know that LinkedIn is not the sexiest social media, but like check in once in a while, just FYI. But that being said, what are we looking for? I know that you're not going to have the most work experience, but put some competencies on there that are attractive. What are competencies? Competencies are things about your personality that are not necessarily skills, but they're reflections of skills to come, if you will, right? Hardworking is an example. It's a shitty example, but it's an example, right? And what are some things that I can see to prove that you're ambitious, even though you might not have 6 years of experience behind you to prove that, right? So if you're just coming out of college, I'd love to see some internships. What do your internships look like? What are some things that you can put on there to show that you've taken the lead in some of those internships, right? So maybe you haven't led a studio, but maybe there were some small things along the way that you could put on your resume or on your LinkedIn profile to show that you saw some gaps and you filled them. I can then say in my mind that moving forward, whether you're going to be an assistant or a coordinator, or you're going to go in production, that this is going to be a repeatable process, right? You're going to be able to see gaps and you're going to be able to fill them. Those are the types of things that hiring managers are looking for moving forward. Somebody that can see problems and find solutions for those things moving forward. So when you're really early on in your career, we're looking for competencies more than solid experience and skill sets.
What are some of the hard skills or software programs that you really need to know?
Krista, I hardly know how to turn on my computer, and I work for a tech company. But I think it depends. If you're going to be an editor, for an example, right, you do need to be familiar with editing software coming through the door. I think that's really beneficial. And then some of the stuff that they'll teach you in school, some of the stuff that they'll teach you through your internships. If you're going into a position where you need 2 years of experience, 2 years of editing experience, you probably want to be familiar with this editing software. If you're going into an assistant position at an agency, you want to be really PC and Mac proficient, I would say. But I think these are things that are probably embedded within you already. These are like, how to turn on a computer. My 11-year-old is better than I am at most of the things on my phone. So I wouldn't say that from a tech perspective, you'd be walking through that's probably not your biggest gap. If I could be biased for a second, I would say that your biggest gap are on the intangibles, most likely how to predict what's going to happen, how to predict human behavior, how to get ahead of problems, how to not freak out when you have competing priorities. The entertainment industry is a very demanding industry, right? How to keep your cool under that pressure and keep it moving. Those are the intangible things that I think will be more of a learning curve for somebody coming in versus the tech stuff.